Hello and welcome to the next lecture. So in the past we were doing only the REST, let's say production, right? So we produced the REST API. Now we're going to consume it. And I have a really nice list of, let's say, Open API. You can just Google Open API and probably this list will show up, like public APIs. I'll also put it into the description. So so we want to consume some of the API. So let's use the I already prepared one for us. It's called the coin lore, and we're interested in specific one specific API for now, right? So for example, we want to check the price, right? So our API, when the user goes to the specific like /crypto and ID something, right? We want to get the fresh data about the, for example, Bitcoin, right? And output the result to the user, right? So something like this. So we can use this link, for example, ID 90, and we'll get a correct JSON which we're interested in. So let's start with it. And today we're actually gonna use new project. So just to, make, sometimes we'll go and refresh our project in order to make it a little bit more fresh and no other dependencies that we don't need. So I already prepared the link. So the project group ID. So the artifact ID in our case will be crypto price, and then now cryptocurrency resource will be the class which will be named for the resource. The path for this resource will be crypto, and then we have two extensions: test REST client and REST easy JSONB. So the JSONB will be for us to consume, not only produce JSON. And so yeah, let's create a project, and let's all out everything that we have. Okay, so now it's ready. Let's open this project actually. Okay, so we generated our project, right? We have a cryptocurrency resource at tech.now crypto package, and we have so the path is here, and then the get method that will output the hello to us back. Let's start our project. So you can do it like this: Maven Quarkus dev, or if you don't have a Maven, you can go /mvnv Quarkus dev as well. Both will work. The difference is that this is like prepackaged with everything you need to have except the libraries. It will load them. And so now we have our project working. Let's go to the 8080, and you can see that if we go to hello, we actually have a crypto, right? Yeah. So if we go to crypto, it shows us hello back. Actually, this one shows the REST resources. This is really nice because you know exactly what API do you have, and actually what this produces as well. So yeah. So, but we're not here for this part, right? We're here for consuming our API. So let's create a new package called data. Where data package is where you most of the time put your data models that you'll consume or produce. And in our case, let's create a, I don't know, currency, right? Let's create just a currency, and we'll have what do we have? We have a private string ID, for example. Private. Let's see what we actually have here, right? Symbol, string symbol, private name, string name, and we also have the price USD, or what should be interested in as well. Price change. Okay, yeah. So we're interested in price USD, private string price USD, and this is the first thing that you might be interested in. So you might now wonder how we should treat the price USD, you know, because underscores is not like a good way to represent the data object. So it's technically, ideally should be like this, right? So it should be camel case, and it's not the problem. So all you need to do is do the JSONB property, and then value should be price USD. So you can specify JSON name with the JSONB property, and price USD will be just a field. So if it finds the price USD in a JSON, it will map this value to this price USD value. So let's create an empty constructor, and also let's create getter and setter as well. So that's there. And now we need to create a service that will serve us as our REST client, right? So let's create a new, let me actually give you a little bit more like this. So let's create a new Java class called service, and let's name it crypto service, actually currency service, like this. And so now we should specify that this should be a REST client, register. We should register a REST client. So when this annotation present, we specify, and actually we want not a class but interface, sorry. So when this annotation present, we're specifying that we actually want to make this class as a client, right? So everything else that you will see right now will be exact copy of the any resource. So let's see, we can put here a path like this. Let's say what we have. So let's make it a little bit, actually we'll go with the ticker. So we'll make it like this. We'll have a ticker here, and so inside we can put a get. So you can imagine that we imagine that we creating this API in a interface without actually implementing the logic inside. So you just thinking how you describe this API, and then inside you just do the real API that you could do with a cryptocurrency resource, right, or something like this. So here we should specify that we consume application JSON, right, and then we should just put a public, and we're expecting a list of a collection of currency, right, like this. And so let's name it get currency, right, like this. And then here, as you can see here, we have an ID, right? We can put query param called ID, and then the string ID, for example. It shouldn't be a string, but for this time we actually don't need a public as well here. So that's basically ready, right? What next should we do with it? So you see that we haven't specified one crucial thing that you need to have. We haven't specified the API itself. Like, hey, how will it know it? And so what you need to do is to actually go to application properties, and you need to specify service, the class name, and then specify such combination as np-rest, and then URL in our case, right? So now what we can do is to put this link. Okay, I'll use this one like this, and actually let's put it like this, and then we should specify scope, and the scope should be javax scope, I think, yeah, or the inject. Let's see, singleton, yeah. So like this. So we specify the np-rest URL and np-rest scope. So now it will know that it should use this URL, and then the singleton should be this, right? Okay, that's pretty easy in some case. And what you also can do is actually specify a config key. And you can see that you can also specify a base URL right there if you want, but we can specify a config key. Let's say config API crypto or something like this. And what you can do with it is just replace this thing here, and now it will use, basically it will search by this key here instead of a class. That's both way to do it. And so let's finish our API with single, let's actually modify our get method, get crypto, right? And it produces application JSON as well, consumes nothing. And we're interested in a query param called ID, string ID, right? And now, last thing that we need to do is actually inject our, this is some not logical part from the Spring side, but it's simply easy to understand from the Java EE. So you need to specify that it's actually REST client. So you need to put here a REST client, and after that you can do a currency service like this, right? So that's pretty easy. You have to not forget this line, REST client, because otherwise you'll have a problem, and you just, when you compile, you'll see the problem that's going on. So here we just replace what is it, currency service get currency ID, right, like this. And we also replace it with collection currency, and we actually can already run it. It's actually already running. Let's see if we don't have any problems. I'll just rerun. For me, you don't need to do it actually. So let's see. Okay, it's starting super okay. So now let me actually use a postman a little bit. So let's go to 8080 slash what do we have, crypto, right? I think crypto. And now I think in this case it will fail actually. Yeah, because we don't have a, you know, but if we specify the ID equals 80, for example, right? We can expect our JSON object, right? You can see that we have ID 80, name Ethereum, price USD 241.04. Is it really? Oh my god, I lost a lot of money. And the symbol is ETH. So, and we can check the Bitcoin price as well by 90, and it's 900,263.04, symbol Bitcoin, and you can see that it's actually priced USD, even though we actually created a data object called currency, and you can see that it has ID, symbol, name, and price USD in camel case, but the JSON property is price USD. So yeah, you can see how it works, and it works perfectly. So again, you can also specify something additional here, like price BTC, for example, right? Let's create another thing called price BTC. So it's like the price of the cryptocurrency in Bitcoin. And let's create a guidance center for it as well. And let's just query our 80. And you can see that we have price BTC is 0026, and of course if we run the 90, you can see that the price BTC is actually is 1, which is actually, you know, the price Bitcoin in Bitcoin is 1. So yeah, and that's actually pretty much it. You can do anything you want with the currency service. For example, you can create a post methods, put methods, whatever. So this is basically an inverse of the resource, and you can do pretty much everything with it. So it's basically like, if you ever use the retrofit in Android, that's pretty much the same thing, right? Because it's really easy, and maybe in Spring there is also REST client that you can use like this. But yeah, so One more thing to do is actually fix our tests. So you can run our tests both ways, or MVN test, or if you have IntelliJ IDEA, you can run it via the UI. So you can see that it will fail, of course, because we don't have unable to blah 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 message contact. Okay, so expected result is 200, but was 500, right? So we can do it. Let's see, objects. We can just put it like this, right? ID equals 80, for example. And so body, we don't need a body. So here we can specify that we want to have size like this. Let's say the main object, the root object size will be is 1, right? So like this, let's check it if it's working. And we are also interested if, let's see, I think it should work, right? Yeah. So we're also interested if zero object, like first object by index 0, it's what we have actually here, currency, it's ID equals is 80 in our case, right? And so we're interested if like the ID of the first object, first JSON object in an array in the root object will be 80, and then zero object, and I think the name is let's say it will be maybe what is this, Ethereum, I think, like this. I think Ethereum, right? Oh, it's no, wait, I'm interested in 80. Ethereum, no, it's correct. We can see that the expected is 80, but actually is 80 because the 80 in our case is actually a string, because we specified it as a string. So now if we run it, it should be fine. At least I think so. Let's see. And yeah, test passed. So, and one last thing that I want to show you actually is that the currency service, the REST client, can be also asynchronous. So for example, you can use a completion stage like this, and everything else will be like this, right? If you have a RX Java, you can use it, or if you have a mono, the mono will work as well. We don't have it right now. So, but we'll use a completion stage from the 1.8 Java API, and you can specify the same thing actually here, completion stage, like this. Or you can of course use it within the the other service. You can get the get crypt, how it's called actually, the get currency, and then use the methods on the completion stage to check how it's working, right? So now we have everything that we need. So we have a completion stage, and we can run our API one more time, and you can see it's working fine because we basically, so you can output the completion stage or output something asynchronous back to Quarkus. It will handle it as needed. And of course in a REST client, you can also receive, let's say, consume the completion stage. So when you call the get currency, it will have a completion stage, and you can use it as well. So now you know how to use a REST API, REST client actually, and how to register it with a config key or with a class, how to inject it with specific key called specific annotation called REST client, and how to consume it and actually give it back to the the resource that produces something similar, right? So what I encourage you to do right now is to go to the public APIs and choose something that you like. Look carefully for the auth. It should be no. Or if you want, you can register and get the API key and use it as well if you want to. Maybe we'll look at how to use the API key later through the chapters. Maybe so you can go to any of the interesting APIs. For example, I don't know, maybe you're interested in whatever, maybe animals, right? And here is a random pictures of dogs, and we actually will look at this in next video, where we're gonna use a REST client using the form data, multi-part files. So you can look at anything that you like and try to reproduce it itself. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.